Hello everyone, for Voice of Reason, this is Jake Schwartz. It's another audio edition of Voice of Reason. It's December 2015, and we have another great Friends school that has taken the time to join us here today as we welcome in the Friends Central Phoenix, one of the most well-respected programs in the United States. Always a great school, at many times have been nationally ranked, have competed in tournaments such as the Dick's Sporting Goods National Championships, which back then was the just high school national championships back when it was in Bethesda, Maryland. And look who I found here at the Friends Central School, two of my favorite Friends League basketball players, Chucky Champion and UVA commit DeAndre Hunter. Gentlemen, welcome. Great to see both of you again. Chucky, we start with you, because I remember, nice to see you as well, because I remember when I first started covering you back when you were in the Narberth Basketball League, and that really does go a long way. And how have you enjoyed yourself transitioning over from a school like LaSalle to a place like Friends Central?
I had a great transition. I feel like I transitioned pretty well, fit right in immediately. Feels good.
Yeah, you were really somebody that was getting, I don't ever like to go against any coaches because I've known Joe Dempsey a long time, but it did kind of seem like you were getting a little bit limited amount of minutes when you were at LaSalle. And ever really since you got here, you've actually been starting under a good coach like Ryan Tozer. What does he mean to someone like you?
He's a great figure to me. High school coach. I respect him a lot. And I feel like he's helping my game grow. And I feel like I can continue to grow with him coaching.
There's definitely been some great guards that you've played under in the last maybe 4 years, and that certainly it doesn't just include the LaSalle players, but it also includes John Lawton, who I believe is now playing at a Division I school. You yourself are committed to Division I, and that's Loyola. Yeah. Actually, I think was it Division I or Division II for Lawton?
Division II.
It was Division II. You're right about that. That's right. You're right. Because at one time I had remembered that John was being looked at by a lot of Division I. Yeah. He decided to settle with St. Thomas Aquinas, a very well-respected D2 school. What did you learn under a guy like John?
John taught me a lot. He was a great leader. Sort of took me under his wing. I feel like I can become a better leader after seeing him last year, learning from him, trying to get the little chemistry between me and him and the rest of the team.
What can you say about this gentleman on the far left-hand side? University of Virginia bound, and he's been probably one of the most well-respected, nationally ranked players in the 2016 class, and I bet you're happy playing alongside a guy like Hunter.
Very happy. DeAndre is a great player, great to play with, and usually enjoy playing with him most of the time.
There's been some great tradition that's come out of this school. Your coach itself, Ryan Tozer, played here, but you think about some of the great guards that played here in this school. Mustafa Shakur, now playing professionally in Europe, was at one time in the NBA. Hakeem Warwick, who is also an NBA basketball player. Michael Cook and his twin brother, also who played here. And then there's the old coach here, Jason Polikoff, who also had great tradition, now coaching a Division III school at Earlham College. What more can you say about this tradition here at Friends Central?
I think it's a great tradition, trying to carry it on for years to come in the program and see how we can do this.
I forgot to mention Emil Jefferson, too.
Oh, yeah, Emil Jefferson.
Who is now a national champion at Duke, but you were, I'm sorry, go ahead, you were saying?
I was saying trying to keep the legacy going of the great players that come out of Friends Central, DeAndre, other players like that. See if we can keep it going for years to come.
You're Loyola bound. What's the one thing you can say about that honor?
It's a relief to know where I'm going to school, so I don't have to worry about it. I can enjoy the rest of my year, senior season.
Wanted to talk to you about your, and I'll make this as quick as I can because I know you got to get ready for practice. Wanted to talk about your cousin because I know you have long-standing traditions with basketball. Your cousin happens to be Raja Bell. What's been the best part about learning from a guy like him?
Best part is he usually gives me a lot of tips when I was younger, and still to this day. Great player to learn from defensively, offensively, and I feel like I've learned a lot from him.
Can you take that coming into the season?
For sure.
Well, you've already had a good start with that win against Malvern Prep. What do you feel like you need to do as the season progresses?
I think you need to play a little better defense. 78 points is a lot. I think we can improve on that on the rest of the season.
All right, Chucky, go ahead. Nice to see you. DeAndre, good to see you. DeAndre Hunter, UVA bound, and congratulations on that commit. And how excited are you going into your senior year? Because I remember you've had a little bit of you've had some tough times, because I was there your sophomore year when you missed your entire season, but you've really progressed in 3 years that you've played varsity basketball. How's that been going for you, and where do you see yourself going from there?
I'm just really excited to get to Virginia. I've just been working my 3 years since my sophomore year to try to get back on track to where I would have been if I hadn't got hurt. So I feel like from now on, I just continue to work hard and get better and better every day.
I talked to Chucky about this. There really has been, again, as mentioned, long-standing tradition, and there was a really good basketball player that was no different than you were, because when you were a kid, you really had the privilege of following this man. That's Amile Jefferson. And what can you say is the difference between both Amile and yourself?
Difference between us two?
Yeah, because, Amile was just like you, skinny, but was able to dominate on both offensive and defensive, and you're pretty much able to do the same thing. Is there any type of a difference, or is this mostly a similarity between you and him?
I mean, he played really well in high school. He was a McDonald's All-American. I mean, you can't really take anything from that. He was a great player in high school. I'm a great player in high school, so I wouldn't really say they're any different between us two.
Would you compare yourself to a Hakeem Warwick type person who also played here, or even a guy like your coach, Ryan Tozer? Although Ryan, I think, was a guard, if I remember, when he played here.
Yeah,
he was a 3, I think.
I wouldn't really compare myself to either of the two, but I mean, I feel like I'm my own player. I feel like I have a really distinct way about the way that I play, so I really wouldn't compare my game to Amile or Hakeem or Ryan Tozer.
I understand. Talk about that decision, University of Virginia. You had a lot of great schools. You had a lot of Big 5 schools, if I recall, that were after you. Why did you decide to choose on UVA and a head coach like Tony Bennett?
I just really felt comfortable there. I visited a lot of other schools. They were great schools. I had a lot of other decisions, but I felt like when I visited Virginia, I felt like that was the best fit for me for my education as well. So.
It is a very well-respected student-athlete school. Now coming into this season in your senior year, both you and Chucky are the only 2 Division I players at the particular moment, although Anton Walker is another name you really want to look out for, I would imagine, this season. I wanted to talk about what's going on with the Friends League, and Westtown should be, again, very well coached, very well respected, bringing in additions like Brandon Randolph and Muhammad Bamba, Jair Bolden, and now with the addition of your good buddy Cam Reddish. What can we expect for this season?
From us?
Yes, from Friends Up. That's right.
I feel like we're going to compete against any team. It doesn't really matter who we play. We try not to really think about what players the team has. We just try to play our game. And if we win playing that way, we will. But I feel like we'll really compete this year.
Mustafa Shakur, Hakeem Warwick, your coach, Jason Polikoff, who I remember actually is the one who recruited you, because when you were coming, I remember when you were coming up playing in the parish in the Northeast, there had been reports you were going to Father Judge in the Northeast area. But when you talk about long-standing tradition like Mustafa and Hakeem Warwick and both the Cooks, and not to mention Amile Jefferson, what can you say about a school like this?
They've been known to produce good players. I just want to continue that tradition. Me and Chucky, I feel like we can, with us being 2 D1 commits, and hopefully that'll be more down the line.
What does Ryan Tozer take it into somebody like you? Because it really did start with Jason Polikoff. What did you learn from Jason, and then what have you learned so far from Ryan?
Jason actually wasn't here the whole time.
But I thought I remember he definitely recruited you, right?
Oh, yeah, he recruited me. He just told me about the school, telling me how great.
Oh, so he never really coached you?
No. He
okay,
didn't.
so Ryan, what have you learned from Ryan? Let's go with that.
He just told me to be a leader. He just helped my game grow more and more each year. So I really appreciate his help.
Sean Colson at Team Philly Pride. What can you say about a guy like him? Because you've been playing AAU ball with them, and I know each and every one of your players, including yourself. What have you learned from them?
He just told me to work hard. He said in order to get to where I want to go, I'm gonna have to put the work in. There's no shortcut. So with him, it's just all hard work.
Yeah, I definitely want to mention that there's again, Sean Colson is somebody who was really around you a lot, not just in the AAU, but really off the floor, because he's come to just about all of your games, and What have you learned from him as a player when he was a basketball player? Because this is a guy who went to the pros to what he is now as a coach.
He really helped me with my guard skills and making better decisions. I feel like before I was more of a person that could just go to the bucket and couldn't really shoot, couldn't really handle the ball, and I feel like he just expanded my game even more.
You're coming up this weekend with the Friends versus Mid-Atlantic Prep League, first at Westtown, then Sunday at the Hunt School. What do you feel like you need to do to get better, and what do you feel like you'll need to do for this season to try to compete for a Friends title?
I feel like our defense definitely needs to improve, and we just need to play a little harder on the defensive end. And I feel like our offense will really take care of itself with the player we have, and the coach we have. So if we just play hard on defense, I feel like we'll have a good chance against any team.
We're here at the Friends Central School here on beautiful City Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Our guests so far have been Chucky Champion, the Loyola-bound basketball player, and University of Virginia-bound DeAndre Hunter. I want to thank both for stopping by. We'll hopefully join the head man, Ryan Tozer, right after this. This is Jake Schwartz for Voice of Reason, and we'll see you at the games. Hello, everyone, for Voice of Reason. This is Jake Schwartz back here at Friends Central here on City Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My final guest here at Friends Central School is a man I've traveled many roads from NCAA to high school, former Rosemont coach and former Friends Central player, now back in his alma mater, Ryan Tozer. Welcome to Voice of Reason. Always good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining our practice today.
It's my pleasure, and it's great to be around you. And I want to remind everybody, folks, this is an audio edition of Voice of Reason, but you will have the opportunity to view it on our new YouTube channel. And Ryan, you've had some great success yourself, being that I just asked many good questions with DeAndre and Chucky about the success that has come here. You lived most of that success from the days that you were playing here with Hakeem Warwick, Mustafa Shakur, and even the last coach, Jason Polikoff, and even the Cooks. What have you learned from this long-standing tradition here at Friends Central?
Well, it's a real honor and privilege to come back and coach at your alma mater, and we've had such a rich basketball tradition, and I just want to keep it alive. I want to keep the program at a high level, and we're one of the top programs in the city year in and year out, and we're fortunate to have an athletic director and an administration that's really supportive of athletics and basketball, and we have great kids. We've been fortunate to have a lot of good players come through here, and kids that are coachable and they want to work and they want to play, and great kids, great families, and it makes my job that much easier.
Hey, you were a coach over at Rosemont, but you also were teaching, I believe. Where was that?
I was teaching at John L. Kinsey in West Oak Lane.
Are you still doing that?
High school. No, actually, I teach 6th grade math here at Friends Central.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my fourth year teaching and coaching.
How do you like that?
I love it. I have great kids. Love teaching math. Love working with young kids in the middle school. They're eager to learn. They work hard. Great parents. It's just a really great atmosphere to work in.
I know that the Friends League is, I remember back when I really first started out, back when Emil Jefferson was playing along with Karan Davis, but this was back when the Friends League had, Karan and Emil, Jabril Trawick at Abington Friends, who's now playing in the NBA, Daniel Oshefu over at Westtown, and not to mention, if I'm correct, Savon Goodman, Raheem Christmas, and Malcolm Gilbert. But I feel like the Friends League is starting to do something similar to that, because you have DeAndre, Westtown has Bamba, ANC has that really good trio. It really should be a very competitive year for Friends basketball.
Yeah, I agree. I really think the top half of the league is really strong this year, and there are really going to be some competitive games. And really looking forward to the opportunity of playing against Westtown and ANC. And Shipley looks like they're improved, and GFS and AFS are always dangerous. And then the rest of the league, you just never know what they're going to have. So it should be a competitive league, top to bottom this year.
Can you talk about the transition from a school like Rosemont? Because I remember when Jason Polikoff really was taking the reins of this school. And what did Jason instill to you before he took the job as an assistant at Penn? Because I know you and him are very good friends.
Yeah. Jason's a great guy. I was a high school teammate of his, and we've kept pretty close contact ever since. He just said, just take ownership of the program, be yourself, bring your style in. He said we're inheriting great kids, and he was right. He said just be honest with the kids, and they'll respect you.
This season coming up, you'll face some very good competitive type schools. I know that you're going to play one tournament, I think, out in the North Carolina area, if I'm correct?
We're playing in this Quaker School Invitation, which is kind of neat. Quaker schools from up and down the East Coast. We're playing at New Garden Friends in Greensboro, North Carolina. We're playing Baltimore Friends, who's really talented.
Always, yes.
And,
used to have Miles Douglas, by the way.
Yeah.
But he's gone now.
Okay.
He's at Paul VI, I believe, out in Fairfax, Virginia.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, you can do the scouting.
Apparently, yeah. No, that's what I was thinking. Let's talk about that. DeAndre Hunter and Chucky Champion, you've produced another 2 Division I players. Now, you had the first one when you took over, and that was Karan Davis. What did you learn from a guy like him, and what have you learned off of these other 2 Division I players? And you have another one, in my opinion, that's on the rise, who happens to be a junior. That's Anton Walker.
Right. I think what I liked most about Karan was his toughness, and I think he instilled confidence in the rest of our guys. Not because he was this talented basketball player and he was a Division I player, just because he played so hard and he was just fearless. And I think we kind of took on that mentality as a team. A guy like Karan, and then with DeAndre, he's a little bit more laid back, but he's so skilled. And again, he makes his teammates better. And Chucky, just such a dynamic offensive player. That really kind of he's able to stretch defenses, and a little bit more hands off this year. Kind of just letting these guys play and trying not to get too much in their way.
What were your thoughts on Emil Jefferson before? And really, you had just got there after he left.
Yeah.
Boy, you wish you could have coached him. What did you like about him? And do you feel like you could compare DeAndre to someone like him?
Well, I think, I've had the opportunity to meet Emil several times and talk with him several times since getting the job. He's been back and works out in the summer. I'm just floored by just how nice of a young man he is, and how proud he is.
Sure.
Of his experience at Friends Central. He's a great advocate for the school. He's got a great leader. He's come back and spoke with our guys. He's very inspiring. And again, I think he's just a tremendous kid, and he's a very good basketball player. Obviously, a great basketball player. He's having a great year. National champion.
He's won at pretty much everything. I mean, this is a guy who won just about every year here at Friends Central. Not to a state championship, as well as he didn't ever won a Friends League championship. I think one year, Westtown might have won underneath his shoes. He did win every year at the Albert Donofrio tournament, and then he did, in fact, win that national title. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'll bet you $20 he will win an NBA championship should he get drafted next season.
Sure, yeah.
Because he's won just about every which way, and he's had, like you said, his father was a basketball player here in Philly, so he has had great tradition as far as playing.
And I think in the comparison of DeAndre and Emil, and it's really hard to compare the two because I think
they're both skilled.
DeAndre's a wing. They're both highly skilled. I think Emil's leadership skills were just so uncommon. You don't find kids like that are lead by example and also vocal. I think DeAndre leads by example. We're working on the vocal aspect of him being a leader, and I think that's something he needs to improve upon. And it's something that we're kind of being conscious of this year, and he's trying to work on. But in terms of skill, I mean, these are both highly skilled players that are playing ACC basketball.
One of the greatest people I've ever had the privilege of working with is a guy who just happened to come here back in the early 80s, and that's my mentor, Jeremy Treatman. What has Jeremy Treatman meant to someone like you?
I think it's just great. I mean, I love playing in those showcase games. I think our guys really love the exposure and playing in larger arenas against.
We're talking about the Scholastic Play-by-Play Classic for those who don't know.
Yeah, and I think I've been appreciative of him giving us the opportunity to play in 3 or 4 games a year. Even the year in which DeAndre was hurt, and we weren't, we struggled as a team. He still kept us in those games, which was great. And our guys are really looking forward to playing Germantown Academy this year, and Plymouth White Marsh, and Abington High School in those play-by-plays. And I just think it's great exposure to play against some of the best teams in the city that we probably wouldn't have the opportunity to play against otherwise if it weren't for his events.
Who would you like to have on the mic for that one? Possibly the voice.
The voice, obviously.
You would have to. You would definitely. Yeah. Well, you would definitely want to. I
don't think we've lost the game with you on the mic.
Is that? The
problem is I don't think you've ever been on the mic for one of our games.
I don't. No. I've been on. I think I've done a few of your games, and I know I definitely didn't do a few of your games last year, but I've definitely in the past. I know that I've at least announced for you at least once or twice. Matter of fact, I think I had you for when we had that big snowstorm up at the Hun School. I think I announced the game when you won that game. I think.
Sure.
I forget which one it was, and hopefully I'm going to try to be on the mic for that that one this coming weekend.
That'd be great.
Well, we're back here again at the Friends Central School here in magnificent Wynwood, PA, or I should say right outside of Philadelphia. And my guests today have been DeAndre Hunter and Chucky Champion, and a man who I happen to know extremely well, both the collegiate and high school level, Ryan Tozer. It's been a pleasure having you on. It's always good to see you. This weekend at the MLPL Friends League, what do you feel like you'll need to do, and how do you plan to carry that throughout the season?
Yeah, I think we have to play better defensively. We're playing against the Hill School on Saturday. Got some size, good guard play. They're very well coached.
Seth Eilberg, by the
does
way.
a great job. So we'll have our hands full on Saturday. We need to play better defensively.
Now, who do you
we
play
can
Sunday?
score the basketball, but we need to play better defensively to have a chance to win.
Yeah, so who do you play Sunday?
We play the Petty School, is also tough.
That's also, yes.
We had 2 tough Maple League opponents this weekend that against some physical size, playing against grown men, which would be a good test for some of our younger guys. But it's a good way to start the season to kind of just see where we're at and see where we need to improve upon.
It's like a high school edition of Big Ten at ACC, right?
Not kidding, right?
I never actually. Ryan, again, good to see you.
Appreciate it.
Best of luck
Thanks for having us.
this weekend, and this has been a presentation of Voice of Reason here at the Friends Central School. It's again December of 2015. From all of us again here at FCS Friends Central School. This is Jake Schwartz. We'll see you at the games. Thanks again for Ryan Tozer, the head basketball coach, and UVA commit DeAndre Hunter, and Loyola commit Chucky Champion.